build on what the exiting regime is leaving in place. The factor of continuity is very important. Otherwise, if every and now then every leader who comes in starts something new, then continuity cannot be marked. And it is my pledge that I want to make you today that for all the initiatives, the projects and the activities established by the exiting union, I pledge to continue. To begin with, there is a routine that we tend to follow, a yearly routine. It is something that we cannot compromise, but rather improve day in, day out. But it is on that I base these ideas, which I feel would make us at large feel proud to come back here, just like our panelists have been introduced. And together, we can achieve this. To begin with, a fundamental pillar of vision is the establishment of the Union Fund. This is a realistic and practical solution that can help us with dropouts, with fellow students failing to write the end of semester exams just because of minimal tuition balance. This is an activity that will be based on grants and donation drives, and others as they may come time to time. Surely it may be quite impractical to get into policies of the university and adjust them, but when we come up with an initiative as students to support our fellow students, then I think this becomes more practical. It's on this that I call you upon, that once, by God's grace, I'm elected, we contribute and together achieve this visionary strategy. Secondly, the agenda of tackling issues that concern students at large. Students have challenges, moreover, same academic and welfare challenges year in, year out. But if we run away from our constitutional role and resort on some other roles, then we shall not have improved the welfare of all the students. Agriculture faculty, lack of inclusion of students, lack of so many facilities we can mention, but for the case of time, I may not mention all of them. I pledge that my primary role will be to rely on the students' voices and relay them where they are supposed to be relayed for action to be taken. This is key because every leader, this is the most primary role of every leader. The union aspires to create that welfare of every student. And one thing that I want to preach based on that fact is that I will always stand with the students to have their aspirations achieved. Thirdly, we have other initiatives that we look at to have. These include the Health Week, the retreat, external moods and other national forums and competitions, as these boost the vibrancy of our university. We all evidence the public notion that this is called Nkozi University, but why we have not subscribed to national forums and competitions. If we aim higher and go out to the nation, then I think we can brand ourselves as those who came before us intended. The next item on the manifesto is the revitalization of entrepreneurship in students. The VC always quotes, especially you can witness if you attended the graduation, that UMO needs to produce entrepreneurial students. And it's on that fact that I base my aspiration that through entrepreneurship exhibitions, entrepreneurship competitions at both practical and theoretical levels, organization of a dedicated place specifically for students' entrepreneurship will really play a very, very pivotal role in shaping the entrepreneurial graduates that the management and the university administration wants to produce. Another item on the agenda is the other things that, for example, our agriculture students can produce. If we get this agenda of investing in our very own, at the same time, we shall be promoting entrepreneurship in them, but also ensuring that the financial sustainability is retained among us. For example, by investing in agricultural students to produce the supplies that we may need in the university, this is an item that is really achievable and it can help us grow their professional experience and also the sustenance of the union at large. Last but not the least, the idea of strategic prioritization that ensures every initiative is undertaken and made purposeful and intentional. When you're in a family, you do not eat meat when you do not have enough finances. This is key that this is something that we should borrow in our students' union. There are primary things that should come first and then others follow. It doesn't mean that there is something that is important, but we need to follow the agenda of strategic prioritization. With that, I want to thank you so much for listening to me and aim to achieve this together with you. This one just going to leave it there. This one is just what now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not on the line. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkozi, for using well your time bank. Yes, I think after I need some mentorship. It's now accepted and I'm a student. And I still need more time as a student to run these things. Without wasting much of our time, allow me to introduce you the candidate number 3. That's Mr. Asino Horan Akamu.
Distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, fellow candidates, and vibrant students of the Great University, a good afternoon to you all. Before I introduce myself, I would like to request with a humble appeal that for such occasions, I request that the administration works together with the Students' Union to support events like these ones that are of so much importance to the Students' Union. On an event like a presidential debate, where students are in to choose their next president, someone that will represent them for the next full year, I request that some things like lectures be put on hold. So just thank you. I stand before you today not just as a candidate, but as a fellow student who shares aspirations, your struggles, and your dreams. My name is Horace Asha Asimwe Mujizi, and I am honored to seek your trust and your vote to become the next union president. I believe in a leadership that listens, that acts, and that delivers. My journey has been shaped by service, determination, and commitment to making this university a better place. Now, this election is not just about choosing a leader. It's about choosing and defining the future we want. Together, as a students' body, the administration, the alumni, and the community, we can build a university where every student's voice matters, where opportunities are accessible, and we are united to progress. A self-sufficient students' union. First, I would like to appreciate my opponents. For this would have happened if it was not for you. Your insights and passions and the piece that you portrayed is very important and key. For the background, for the interest of time, I won't say so much, but just like I mentioned, a leadership that listens and acts. There have been quite a lot of achievements, a number of them. Personally, I'm serving as the Secretary of Information on the current government. I'm the Secretary of Information And we've achieved a lot in the Secretariat, student engagement with the administration, listening to students' concerns, getting them into the system. And also, away from that, I'm a co-founder and also the vice president of Gavo Club. And I'm so glad and happy that all my candidates, my fellow candidates, are part of that club. Also, away from the community, I would like to bring to your knowledge that I was the first person to award Mr. and Miss Umo accolades. I came in my year one and Mr. and Miss Umo was just a name. And I introduced accolades and certificates which gives them a life after campus. Away from that, also continued with community engagement. We've had activities like community cleaning with the Gavo Club and Atramenti Impact Africa, an organization I started, an organization as my own. Together with my team, we've had our university in the outside community. Currently, we are working on a project with the St. Anthony School of the Deaf. Now, this gives us a platform and defines our name as the university. One may wonder, the community does not vote. Why did Asha have to do a rally? Involvement is the first step towards accountability and togetherness. When the community feels involved and engaged, it's easier for them to be a part of you and support you. Now coming to today's important session. My manifesto stands for a self-sufficient student question. What will I be tomorrow? What will define my legacy? What defines you as a student, even outside university? Is it just the transcript or some other things? Now, talking about the self-sufficient students union, my vision is to create a dynamic, self-sufficient students union with comprehensive student involvement, opportunities for growth, and the development in the academics, social life, mentorship, and entrepreneurship. And my mission is to harness the resources of the faculties, integrate students into productive activities, interactive and development-driven initiatives that promote innovation, skills acquisition, and a stronger community. I have an 8-point agenda. For the interest of time, I will just summarize. The first is involvement, accountability, and transparency. The second is student body independence. Third is student influence welfare. Fourth, innovation and technology integration, community engagement, strengthening the student's brand, wellness and student inclusivity, and financial independence and sustainability. But now you may all wonder, how do we achieve a 5-year manifesto in just 2 semesters? There are 2 questions, there are 2 answers to that. One is to work with small segments. We've had some of the faculties thrive and other faculties are not achieving anything. I'm not against it, but why is it that it's only the law who have a law dinner? Why is it that the science faculty does not have a boot camp? Why is it that agriculture students are not up for an activity? So working with segments, I commend the Law Society. When they create a society like law, it's easier for the union to support them. Now we shall have more faculty hubs, at least in every faculty. More faculty hubs to help us achieve a greater goal. 2 is to create projects that inspire continuity. Continuity is very important, starting with what the current government had put, sports, coordination, and all to mention. For the interest of time, I'll keep crashing. Involvement, accountability, and transparency. Most questions arise from lack of accountability, but accountability starts with learning together. When students are involved in the activities we talk about, when students are involved in the activities we talk about, it will be easier for them to hold the union accountable. Now, when students are not involved, accountability and transparency are not achieved. Student body independence, there are very many activities that we can do as a student's body. Thanks to the administration for the support they give to us. But then some activities are based on a tradition. And if we decide to change the whole system in just a semester, it will not be possible. However, as a self-sufficient students' union, we can create activities on our own run our own activities, and support the activities that the university has also already supported. Talking about inclusivity, religious inclusivity, disabilities inclusivity, international students. We are not going to build mosques, we are not going to build churches, but there are very small points you can tackle. Recognize their debts, recognize Janan Lumde, recognize Idi, just for the other communities. That's inclusivity, and that's how it starts. Put a representative for students with disabilities. You may not have disabled students this semester, but how about you get 20 blind students next semester? So the student representative of disabilities must stand. There are very many to mention, but in conclusion, I conclude today, I'm not just asking for you to vote me. I'm asking for your trust, for your belief, and for your commitment in shaping Uganda Matters University. I believe in us, I believe in our ability, I believe in the innovation, and I believe in unity and involvement. Together, we can make the difference that defines us. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day.
You people want me to make my choice now, but I won't. Please, thank you very much. That has been a presentation from the three presidential candidates, number 1, 2, and 3. That's Dumba Kamya Emmanuel, that's number 1. Number 2 is, please, sit.
I'm glad to be here and to be part of the panelists, presidential candidates. You guys are smart. Your manifestos are on point. But I have one question that all of you must give me an answer to. Of recent, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament is trying to fight tribalism in politics because it's affecting decision making. How are you going to ensure that sectarianism and tribalism do not affect your decision making? Yes, Mr. Mujoni, I'm starting with you. Your manifesto.
Oh, thank you so much for that wonderful question. Now, according to our constitution, the presidential elect must appoint heads of secretaries, and that's where most students get bias. Now, according to me, I aim to make that a public notice so that everyone can apply and we screen in order to remove the bias that I appointed people of my own tribe, for example. Thank you so much.
Yes, give the mic to the poet, Dumba. Okay.
Thank you, Madam. To answer that question, first of all, the Constitution clearly states how these secretariats have to be nominated, but for the previous regime I've been here, I've not seen that being carried out, because it says a panel of 10 members have to first vet them before they are taken to the council. So at least I will first of all follow the procedure of what the Constitution says. Then during decision making, since I'm not the sole person running the union government, I will make sure that every decision having to be made is being attended to by all members of the executives and the council, so that we make sure that we don't have sectarianism and tribalism as it's being said. Thank you.
Yes, Senator.
Thank you very much. Now, decision making in leadership is not, in the best leadership, decision making is not as per individual. How do we fight tribalism and decision making? This happens because, like he mentioned, the Constitution has a well-laid, structured way of finding different executives. Now, turning to unity, a self-sufficient students' union, all cultures, all faculties, all hubs work together. And in this sense, students are always accountable to what is being presented. Now, in this sense, tribalism is fought and figured out in a way that When you have a government, for example, you've selected 10 people, you recommend, you don't decide. You recommend to the deciding council and they vet for you. And in that vetting, that's when you get the final results. So tribalism shall not be distributed. Thank you very much.
Mr. Doom, Mr.
Forest Asha.
Okay, Asha. I want you to imagine you are now the new president. Are you going to inquire from Muju for support in terms of decision making? Because he has contested for this position, and by the time here, he's a perfect president, right? So are you going to be inquiring since he has experience in leadership?
Thank you very much. When, of course, one of us will win. The next step you do is incorporating ideas. Yes, I may have a manifesto, but there are some ideas that he has that are for the betterment of the students. And incorporating ideas is the first step. And in a time when I'm building on my vision and I want to fill this vision, I will invite him. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For those who came late, I'm Dr. Dennis Musinguzi. I am a senior lecturer in the School of Arts and Social Sciences. And first of all, I want to thank all the candidates for offering themselves to lead this very prestigious institution. I want to congratulate you all for successful nomination. If you are not nominated successfully, you wouldn't be in front of us. And I want to remind you that leadership is not a privilege. Leadership is a sacrifice. If you are not willing to sacrifice, you're not going to become a good leader. There are so many hurdles you will deal with as you're executing your mandate as leaders. Coming back to the theme, you've talked about your manifestos. I want to ask each one of you, what is that ideal good that you would like to see? And how are you going to use your leadership as the union president to contribute to the achievement of that? Can I begin with Asha?
Thank you very much. My vision for an ideal and caring Uganda Matters University starts with involvement, that is students, community, alumni. The caring part comes in when students are a priority, when the community is engaged, and when everyone feels comfortable in the space. And that comes about when all resources are in space. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well answered. You can give the microphone to the next so they answer to that question too.
Thank you so much. My vision for an ideal and caring Homo community, a community that is united but not divided, a community that rejoices in progress, a community where students do not have the same challenges year in, year out. That's really embarrassing. And it is one thing that I would love to see an improvement on always. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that question. My ideal good Uganda Matters University is a school producing excellent field and patriotic members of our country, a unified campus listening to students' grievances and attending to them, a student-supported university whereby these students are helped by the university not only by teaching them, but also supporting them in their financial distress and also helping them developing their careers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You are all very intelligent and very articulate, and I like your answers. My second question. In all your profiles, you are past leaders and you are current leaders. And one of you, by the end of tomorrow, is going to be heading this institution as a girl president. From your current experience, no, not the past one, can you tell us briefly how you've dealt with budgets and monies, and whether you've one outstanding success and one failure, and how you are going to overcome that? Thank you.
Thank you so much also for that question. As I introduced myself, I am the treasurer of an NGO. Budgeting and dealing with money is something I've handled because I assumed this position when I was in senior 4. This is an organization that doesn't only work in Uganda, it also partners with an organization called Canada for African Community Health Alliance. So it means I've been dealing with a budget that is not only requiring me to provide receipts and other accounting documents to the organization, but also to that organization in Canada. It means I've been able to understand how to handle money that is not mine, deliver the money to the people that do need it, and also to clear the budget where we have insufficient funds for our activities. So it is going to be, I would say, a walkover for me to liaise with the appointed Secretary of Finance to make sure that every financial detail in Uganda Matters University goes well, and to make sure that the students are satisfied with the accountability, because I believe in accountability. Whatever is done, let us show the accountability to the students, because these are the people who pay this money. So accountability will be one of my first issue to solve the problem of budget, and also to make sure that we work with the limited funds that we do have, and also mobilize for more to have a better Uganda Matters University.
Thank you so much. Budgeting and finances. Now, everything begins with a plan that we should all contribute to as the leaders. And then after planning, we need to have the unity and implement everything we have planned. If we have not united, budget implementation collapses at some level. By incorporating unity, we shall handle budgeting and the monetary aspects and push for those responsible to do their role. And if anyone sleeps on the job, then we shall not achieve collectively. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, my experience with budgeting and finances is actually in two areas. Well, budgeting, of course, starts with planning. Now, I happen to be a founder and the CEO at Traumatic Impact Africa, registered by URSB, a charity-based organization that is supposed to support multi-talents for youth and help them live them a life away from academics. Now, with that, being a sole CEO, I have to manage and make sure all finances are being reversed well. Now, getting to the second point, sometimes money may not be available, but when the finances are not there, does it mean that you as a leader should not work? Now, last semester, my being awarded as the best leader, I did not use any money under my secretariat. I've served as an information secretary, and I achieved everything I could with all the means I had. I've tried all the creativity means, I've tried to do all the activities without any budget. So with money, when the money is available, use it. When it's not there, you be creative. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can you keep holding that microphone? You made a very important suggestion at the beginning of your speech, that days like this should be granted, without lectures, so that students can come here. Did you make this suggestion before, or you did not?
Yes, I actually did. The Chairperson Electoral Commission and the Secretary can attest that yesterday I requested if they could talk to the academic registrar to pull off the lectures. Thank you very much.
So if you become president, how will you ensure that it is going to be respected?
Well, when it happens, you communicate with the academic registrar, and in the work plan, highlight certain activities. It's not like only this activity. For example, public lectures, they are also supposed to help us achieve different things. So once in a while, there is a public lecture, cut off the lectures just for one day, achieve the career session, and then continue for the other activities.
You have a very strong point on university community linkages. How practically are you going to achieve that?
Yes, everything begins with influence. Now, my strength in leadership starts with influence. I personally cannot achieve anything without a big base behind me. So usually, when you set up a vision, you sell it to your people, and when you sell it to your people, they help you out. That's why I was able to pull a number of up to 150 students to join my organization and support the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Give the microphone to the next. Yes, Mojuni Joel, you've talked about the Students' Fund, especially for helping the students who are not able to raise tuition by the close of the semester. How practically is it going to work?
Thank you so much. Based on suggestions like marathons and donation drives, this is a very practical way of achieving that ambition rather than getting into policies that may sometimes be administrative and beyond the students' control. Yearly, we have marathons that aim to achieve objectives which are not for the university, where they contribute to the university, but to my thinking, they would be very attended to if they were to help directly any student of Uganda Matters University.
So you intend it to be a project under the union? Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. You talked about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Which specific enterprises do you have in mind for the students?
1657. The background is that many students are doing entrepreneurship at a small scale level. Many of them deal with foods, many of them deal in services like laundry and so many other services. And we need to come up to give them a hand, to incentivize them and teach them the relevancy of the initiative that they are taking at this level. So with that, we shall contribute to the general call of the management to produce entrepreneurial graduates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we go to that point? Yes, I want to translate poetry into practice. Your catchword is unity and diversity. How relevant is that to you as a leader, and how will it apply to the university?
As I explained first, unity in diversity is us coming from different backgrounds. We have different cultures here. We are of different religions, and we are from different faculties. That is the diversity I'm talking about. And the unity is us coming together to work as a students' union with support from the students, and then working together to achieve a good university and ideal Uganda Matters that we all deserve.
You have a very constructive suggestion about 70% tuition, and you cited Makerere, which is putting it at 60. Now, I'm looking at a first-year student in first semester or second year student. How practically are you going to implement this?
It is not an implementation coming from the Students' Union Guild, but it is a policy to be put up by the university, but beginning with applications from us. It is us who have to file in this to apply to the university to enable our students who have failed to raise their 100% tuition. So a person in year one who is currently not doing exams from the first semester to the second semester, but is currently attending all lectures and failing to do exams, it is very different from someone who is at least paying a percentage and they at least do these exams. At the end, they are not given their transcript before they pay. It is very different than someone reaching in third year, and they have to cover up for courses they missed in year one. At least it helps one to get this money in the due process and to cover up the tuition that is missing.
Okay. Thank you so much. Of course, it is going to be a difficult policy to implement, and I'm raising this. When you are going to convince finance, you must have a working formula on how it is going to work. If I miss a percentage in first year, do I go to second semester? Or I must pay before I go to the second year? And how much can one accumulate? And I don't want you to answer this. Let me spare you of that. It is something you can think about as you are implementing. Finally, linked to diversity. You talked about support for other religions. And I was wondering, which support don't they have, and which kind of support are you going to provide? Thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I visited my friends, the safeties. They are currently running a project to fund their instruments, but they do not have support. At least if you are told we can support them and achieve that. Those are some of the things they are missing. We have, also, they have their trips, like us Catholics have trips to other Catholic universities and link up with them. These people also have their conferences, their gatherings, but at times they go to the responsible offices to request for means of mobility, but they are not supported, and it is very difficult for them to be to support themselves as a group. But if at all the university can support them in such a way, we have the Muslim community. I think Eid is on Monday, but we may reach Eid and we have lectures. These people need to celebrate this day. It is a day that comes once. And if at all we make that a free day for them, they don't attend lectures and they go also praise their Lord and also enjoy their day. It is the support that we are looking at. That is the university we are talking about. Also, not only in the region, it's also other faculties. Recently, agriculture missed their trip to Harvest Money Expo because the bus was not around. It had taken some students somewhere for fun. But this is a Harvest Money Expo helping the agriculture students. But why aren't they supported to go attend that and we look at the people going to have fun?
Yes, stay with the mic. I'm sure you are aware that there is drug abuse in this institution,
Yes.
alcohol abuse in this institution, and bullying in this institution. What is your way that you're going to have all that resolved? We have drug abuse, we have even rape attempts due to drug abuse. How are you going to curb that virus?
Thank you, madam. When I talked about social and education clubs, these are clubs that can unite all members from different faculties and different groupings. In this, if at all I'm occupied, if at all I can say on Monday I have 2 lectures, Tuesday and Wednesday I don't have, but I know there is a GAVO meeting, I will go and attend. I will listen to what advice they will give. I will make connections. I may meet Joel there and I tell Joel my problem. You know what? I'm addicted to this, but can you help me? These are the social groupings that are going to help us curb down these vices. It is a 1-year regime, but it's also the sustainability I talked about. If at all we keep on supporting these social clubs and educational clubs, and they live beyond the leaders who start them, it will help to curb down these vices, because it is not a one-day thing that we are going to wake up, put up this function, and it ends. It is a process that we shall act on someone who is going through that problem, and if at all we get to eliminate him, we shall have also helped many, many more others.
I'm aware you know we have other campuses.
Yes, I do.
I've not heard you lay down a plan for other campuses.
My manifesto is having around 21 pages, which I could not digest in 7 minutes. But for other campuses, I also acknowledge the fact that we are receiving different emails from these people. I hope you students all can bear me witnesses. But if at all we are including these students in our activities, for example, we have a day out for agriculture students to go and meet the students at Masaka campus, at Lubaga campus. There is inclusivity. If at all we are budgeting for Uganda Matters University, why don't we also budget very well for these other campuses that they can also feel satisfied and also feel inclusive in the Uganda Matters University? Because many complaints are like, we are having everything concentrated at the main campus. Why don't we have other functions better also at other campuses? So it is about liaising with the leaders at those campuses, coming together and plan how we can do inter-movements around our campuses to make sure that they are also inclusive in our activities.
And lastly, what time frame for these different plans you've laid down?
I know it is a 1 year, but I'm looking at sustainability. If at all His Excellency Muhumuza Kenneth left a policy or an activity running, I should first begin with that and continue with that. If I fail to achieve what I had planned, let us support the coming president to also take on what is good, so that will make sure that if at all I have a good activity in my manifesto, it does not get buried under the grass because I did not have the time to implement it. Let us be continuous in what we are doing, not a president coming to give their manifesto and they do away with the previous.
Thank you so much. Now it's up to Mr. Joel. Hi, Joel.
Hello.
How are you? How are you going to have increased participation of students in university events and ceremonies?
Thank you so much. This is an agenda that can be upheld by unity and effective communication. Thank you so much.
Then, Joel, you talked about the different national forums. Can you mention some 3 forums that we are not registered on as a university?
External modes across all universities, the mathematics contests, we have the debate contests, for example, the New Vision debates, and also other international competitions where universities send representatives.
And then lastly, while I was here, we had suggested that every student that does a business within the institution contributes a certain amount to the WUMUSU. Are they doing so?
The vice president, if he is around, could possibly answer that.
And okay, in your regime, do you think you'll have it on board?
Definitely yes, in order to bring up the entrepreneurship spirit in students. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Horace. Yes, as define integrity in the leadership context.
Thank you very much. Now, integrity starts with loyalty. Integrity starts with transparency. Integrity is being loyal to standing for what you define and being patriotic to it. Thank you very much.
Horace, I'm your sister. You've been given money to organize a trip, a WUMUSU leadership trip retreat. Our father has paid 100% of your school fees, and for me, he has paid 95%. Are you going to get a little from the money granted to you to save me?
Students' facilities are not my sister's facilities. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen. You may sit. I start with the one who has been resting. Dumba. I understand you run an association or you're working somewhere, and most of your time you'll be dedicating it to that work because it pays you. How would you integrate that work with Muso should you be the union president, knowing that this is a full-time job as a student leader?
Thank you so much. They are not paying me because it is a volunteer work and a charity organization, first of all. But this is a job that does not require me to be there full time, because even as of now, I am either called, if at all we are budgeting, which does not even take a day, or I'm called to sign a check for them to receive money, or else I pick money myself in case one is not there. But if at all I'm committed to the university activities, it is a matter of me leaving checks signed, and they can do every work, and I attend to their work later when I'm very free. So it is a discipline of time management and planning that I should be able to know when I do my work and when the university needs me when I'm elected as the union president.
Thank you. Speaking of planning, you are in Gavo Club,
Yes.
and most of the time your participation is relatively very low. Basing on the fact that you are engaged with the outside activities, coming in as the union president, would you think you would improve, and how are you going to do so? Because already we have tested it in the club, a club.
I'm sorry to say so, but it is disappointing to hear that statement, because I've been so much involved in organizing all Gavo meetings, organizing the poetry nights, and I'm readily available whenever we are doing that. And the students here who attend that can bear me witness, so it is so disappointing. But on a lighter note, as I've said, it is about planning and knowing what is the priority. When the students trust me to be their union president, there are things that should be of a low priority, and I prioritize them because they entrusted me with their vote, knowing that I can do best for them.
All right, thank you so much. Next is Joel. Joel, in your presentation with one of the questions asked about budgeting, you answered it, but I really want to answer more again. Your presentation was very good. As the incumbent, and also now budget participation, work plan implementation, if you to give you a percentage, what percent would you give you, basing on honesty?
Thank you so much. I'll give myself a 50%.
Okay?
Why?
No, it's okay. 50%.
Leadership is not only about budget performances. The Constitution gives us roles that do not even require a single coin. This should be collective. We shouldn't take leadership in the perspective of budget action, but get into the ground and execute our core constitution role. There are many roles which include representation of students, and this is the very most important role. Students having the same academic problems year in, year out is really unreasonable when workshops are prepared day in, day out. It is the students' issues that should be addressed first before we get into budget action. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. Budgeting comes with work plan. What you are doing is you are implementing the work plan you have set. You are saying you are going to work when you have not set the work plan. Does it make? Because if there's something you're going to do, you should have planned for it.
Definitely.
Now,
yes.
Let's go back to Secretary for Education. Percentage-wise, 50%.
Yes.
Implementation-wise, in terms of that's what aligns with your work plan. Did you feel like there was something missing with the regime that made you not to reach the other 60%?
Yes. this is evident. Lack of collaboration and non-effective communication. But like I said, the Constitution mandates every leader about the roles they're supposed to execute. Many students here complain of similar academic issues year in, year out, but why is that like so? Should we concentrate so much on the events and neglect students' concerns? I beg to submit from there.
All right, Musu Constitution Article 7, powers and functions for the president. You're supposed to call for executive meetings. You are mandated to. In the regime, the president could have called for an executive meeting. In that forum, you're supposed to express those dissatisfaction. Did you get the chance to do so?
I did, and I expressed them.
All right, thank you. Next, Horace. Horace, in your submission, you talked about very many interesting areas. But still going back to the budgeting, you confidently told us that you executed certain things without budgeting. And we are very proud about that. However, your budget, you executed 0.0%. That is the fact. Especially the fact that you executed other things in the Umusu, but did not touch the budget. Now, in the budgeting world, that's a weakness. Because you budget, you have the work plan, but you don't execute. In these circumstances, would you feel like something made you not to execute because you have the whole 9 months basing on what the Constitution says? What could have made you not to at least even requisite for a single something to run with?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And maybe to bring it to the point, our budget as the Information Secretariat, most activities were attached to the PRO. And the little budget we remained with, we were allocated 1 million. And if the Ministry of Finance is here, I collaborated with 2 gentlemen in year 1 who have cameras. Actually, it is him and Brady. Because our budget was requesting for cameras, but they were not provided, I said we are filling in a requisition that will just bring materials to support the available cameras. So my point was not that I did not use the budget, but some things were pushed to the PRO's office, and the activities that I could do, the little I had, is what I used to advocate for these activities. Thank you very much.
Secondly, knowing that you had to use someone else's budget, in your regime coming in as the union president, how would you try to avoid using personal item for the university activity? Because trust me, if I would ask, he bought it with his money, he has that budget, but now you're using a uni activity with someone else's budget. Yet the university should have the resources that they should own their things. How are you going to work with?
Well, my sub-tagline, I believe in something called redefining the system. Sometimes you have to influence something for someone to see the importance and push up for it. Now, when the university, when we take on this advantage and use the available cameras, and the university now has the importance in its side, it will be easier for us to provide proof and be like, these have been the available cameras and this is what they have done. But if you could help us improve and get better cameras, we'd achieve more. So sometimes you have to be creative first.
Thank you. Thank you for the creativity. Now, this is not to you to answer, but just a thought. Anytime you're going to use anything outside, I become very comfortable because now I know someone is providing it. So at the end of the day, I just fold my hands. What I'm trying to tell you is that the university will become very comfortable because Horace is providing. Let there be a gap, and then people be forced to go there and support. All right, a general question for all of you. You can sit down. We begin by Dumba. In the wake of Donald Trump re-election, as a prospective student leader, what are the implications of his executive orders in the African context?
Thank you so much.
And name one of them, at least one of the executive order you can recall.
Okay. The the electing of Donald Trump into office, I believe he helped in waking up African leaders. First of all, some of the executive orders are restraining the USAID help to Africa and also sending back refugees to their countries. In the African context, I understand it is something now hitting us, but it is something helping us to wake up. Stopping USAID from providing this support to the to the responsible personnel. It is calling for African leaders to advocate for more ideas and for more practical skills to ensure that we cap down these diseases. It is also telling the African leaders to make sure that we have policies, we have jobs that are supporting their citizens to remain in their country, not to go abroad. I would support him at a percentage, but also we are also exporting labor there, and he needs to acknowledge the fact that Africa is not as blessed as they are. So I would think it is a wake-up call to our African leaders to make sure that they have policies to support their citizens.
All right, thank you. Yes, Joel.
Thank you so much. Me, I would stick to the Umo community. Understanding that the funding, especially through the USAID, was cut off or was suspended, it teaches us a lesson that, for example, some of the diseases that we battle with, their medication was cut off, and therefore we learn to take care of ourselves, to be wise in every step we take. And also, most of the students study while aiming to look for employment abroad, America inclusive. This teaches us, the students, to stick on our academics, graduate, and be employed in our country. Now that the process of immigration has been hardened, that will improve sustenance and employability in our very own world.
Thank you. Yes, Horace.
Thank you very much, sir. Just referring to your previous piece of advice, sometimes you have to put that need, but then sometimes when the need is so much available, it turns into reluctancy. So, well, Trump's orders, some could have been harsh. For example, they say HIV. Yes, they will teach us Africans because it has been very many years. We should have already thought about such creative ways, or either to manipulate some different things. However, it may have not been scrapped off automatically, but maybe just reduce it, give them space to breathe, then they can also wake up. But following these orders, it's a call to action. We need to wake up as Africans.
All right, thank you. I can start with you when we're finalizing. What was the reason behind Union Senate?
Yes?
What was the reason behind the Union Senate?
Thank you very much. I may not be well versed, but the Union Senate is meant to advise or look through the activities of the union, the students' union. I'm guessing.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Joel. What was the reason behind the Union Senate?
Inclusion of students across all campuses so that they can be represented at the main campus.
Thank you. Yes.
The Union Senate, first of all, having the union president, the governors of all other campuses, and also the dean of students. The main reason behind it is to make sure that all university campuses come together in achieving a common goal.
Thank you so much. A word of advice to Horace. It's an integrity issue out of okay. Some things are okay, but beyond some things it's not okay. It's an integrity issue to use individual things to cover an institution business. You click. It's just a word of advice. In the future, do not do it. I'm a culprit of where I am. I'm a culprit of using individual products to do bank work. And I almost lost my job. So let the university provide to you whatever you want. Then another question lastly to Horace. Which body in the university is not part of the union council?
It is the Electoral Commission and the Pension Council.
Okay, thank you so much. We are coming to an end. Yeah. You are all very capable candidates. But if I had a vote, I would know who to vote. And unfortunately, I don't have that vote. But those with the vote, they know who they will choose. People from finance and business will tell you a budget is an estimation of income and expenditure. And by the way, what you budget for, you may not even necessarily get it. Because sometimes we have deficits, sometimes we have surplus budgets. A point of credit is if you can perform your plans by saving, that is a plus, and it is something very good. So you shouldn't get worried. Once you are able to save the money for the institution by improvising, what you must do, however, you have the activity and finance. If you request from finance and the money is not available, give them the plan on how you are going to improvise. And once that plan is approved, then you are a capable and very important leader. As she advised, please avoid getting into personal resources to run the university activities, except if your donation is officially communicated and received, so that it doesn't bring you problems. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, and we pray and look forward to tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. We are going to do a small exercise, and the returning officer will start it, and I will conclude. Then we see how it goes. All right?
Good evening, Your Excellencies. Today, I'm going to an interactive session, which is a quick fire session. And I will begin with Mr. Joel. You can stand. Yes, and like the doctor questions from this table, mine is a student-based question, which is a quick fire. Which, in your submission, you said you believe in continuity, you have to first improvise with the pending activities of the 30th government, which you are serving in. Those are the pending. I do believe that a good leader is the one who has the solution to the how question. And now my question, I just need you to answer it in a how way. You said you are going to work on the pending or the ongoing projects or activities by the incumbent regime. Your term of office will be run not even a year, but a semester and a half. How are you going to implement by mention, give me the name of the pending project and how are you going to work on it?
Thank you so much. Subscription to UNSA, that is an organization that joins all university students, and that is not so much to achieve. I think our subscription is 700,000 shillings, whereby all the leaders
Enough.
Okay.
Yes. My question, let me again give a directive. I need, your term will be a semester and a half. Now I'm going to reduce it to 1 minute, or in 5 seconds, just provide a solution to that ongoing project. 5 seconds.
Sacrificed by the leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. You can resume your seat. Next is Mr. Dumba Emmanuel. My voice. Your submission will say you have projects that you are going to implement, including extension of network and low faculty and creek.
are we going to achieve in 10 seconds?
It is working with the university management to make sure that the students receive their services and they get.
Perfect. Continue, please. Mr. Horace, with action. In 7 seconds, not 5. Your submission you intend to visualize your manifesto, including the boot camp and those that you want to send the boot faculty boot camp of the science. Kindly visualize it in 5 seconds now.
Already starts with leadership, form committees that will form the hubs.
And reduce it out to your time bound, please. Sit.